Meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Good evening. Councilmember Dieguez,
Here.
Councilmember Rodriguez,
Present.
Councilmember Ruano is absent, Councilmember Fernandez,
Here.
Councilmember Alvarez is absent, Vice Mayor Collazo,
Present.
Mayor Sid.
Present.
Mayor, you have quorum.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Let's all rise for the prayer led by our building director, Danny Angel.
Right, bow your heads in prayer. Dear Father, thank you for today. Thank you for this opportunity to do the people's business here in the town of Miami Lakes. We thank you for your favor, your wisdom, and your guidance as we proceed doing your business. It's in your precious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Director Angel. Remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance led by our Town Clerk, Gina Guanzo.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. The order of business, deferrals, additions, deletions, deferrals, additions, deletions. Are there any council? Are there any motions on the table?
Motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. Madam Clerk, public comments.
Okay. Public comments. All comments or questions from this attending public shall be directed to the mayor in a courteous tone. To ensure the orderly conduct and efficiency of the meeting, public comments shall be limited to 3 minutes maximum per person. No clapping, applauding, heckling, verbal outbursts in support of or in opposition to a speaker or his/her remarks shall be permitted. Should a member of the attending audience become unruly or behave in any manner that disrupts the orderly and efficient conduct of the meeting, such person will be asked to leave the meeting. And as a courtesy to others, all electronic devices must be set to silent mode to avoid disruption of the proceedings. Mayor, I believe we don't have any participants online. I only see Town Manager Ed Peterman. And I have received, for purposes of the record, 3 public comments earlier this afternoon, written public comments, which I sent an email out to Mayor and Council. And as well, for your convenience, I have placed a hard copy on the dais. The first one was for Ms. Mirta Mendez. The second public comment is from Mr. Albert Aguiar. Third public comment is from Ms. Hope Reynolds. It's all in opposition to the millage rate at 2.3127. They're asking, please, to roll back the rate to 2.2168. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So the Madam Clerk said there was no one in the audience or no one online, and she read the ones that she received via email. Are there any on Facebook that you wanted to read, Madam Clerk? Because I know we talked about it last time that we were going to start accepting those comments on Facebook.
I don't have Facebook access right now, but if Don or if somebody is on Zoom, please let us know.
All right, thank you very much.
No
Pub-
participants.
Public
Thank
comments
you.
is closed. We're on to the first item, which is there are no appointments that I can think of. The consent calendar, we have the approval of minutes, item 8A. Are there any motions?
I'll move it.
Discussion, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. We're on to the next item, 9A. Mr. Attorney.
A resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Miami Lakes, Florida, declaring as required by Section 200.065 Florida statutes, the town's proposed millage rate, rolled back rate, computed pursuant to 200.0651 Florida statutes, and the date, time, and place at which public hearings will be held to consider the proposed millage rate and the proposed budget for fiscal year 2021 to 2022, authorizing the town manager to change budget hearing dates if needed directing the town clerk to serve this resolution on the Miami-Dade County Property Appraiser, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Deputy Manager Lopez.
Thank you, Mayor. So the item that you have in front of you here today accomplishes two things. The first one is to set the tentative millage rate for fiscal year 21-22 and to set the budget hearing dates and times. For purposes of setting the tentative millage rate, a proposed preliminary budget has been provided to you that provides for no increase to the millage rate from the previous year. The proposed tentative millage rate is 2.3127 mils, which also has been the same rate for the previous 3 years. This rate remains one of the lowest amongst municipalities in Miami-Dade County. The rollback rate is 2.2168 mils. Note that this item does not approve the budget as presented today. It is solely to set the tentative millage rate of 2.3127 mils as the maximum millage rate for resident trim notifications. The council will have the opportunity to discuss and approve the budget along with setting and approving a final millage rate at the scheduled budget hearings. The budget hearings are recommended to be scheduled as follows. The first one will be Tuesday, September 7th at 7:30 p.m. The second budget hearing will be Tuesday, September 21st at 7:30 p.m. Prior to these two meetings, we're planning an additional sunshine meeting to discuss all other funds on August 18th at 6:30 p.m. And all of these meetings are planned to be held here at Town Hall.
Thank you, Deputy Manager. Is there a motion on the table to start any discussion?
I'll move to adopt the proposed millage rate.
Second.
Discussion, council, anyone has any discussion?
Yes,
before we
Mr.
vote?
Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Diegues.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just want to put my thoughts on the record for residents who may be watching currently or may watch this in the future. I just want to point out, and the empirical data here, that with respect to our millage rate, it is the 6th lowest millage rate in Miami-Dade County, and it is right in the ballpark of where many of the similarly sized cities, in terms of their millage rate, were in the same ballpark as them. So I think we do a lot for the millage rate that we set. It's actually currently at the historic low in terms of the historical table of millages that we've had over the years as a town. And additionally, what I want to point out is our expenses are not decreasing. Obviously, there's been an increase in materials cost. We've seen inflation go up. The town also gets impacted by that. And among some of the expenses that we can see to increase includes our FRS contribution, as well as our healthcare coverage costs, which we're anticipating. I believe it was a 17% increase. So, and I also just want to remind our residents that currently this is just us setting the maximum millage rate, meaning that we can always go lower at a later meeting, but we cannot go higher than what we are setting today. This is only, as the deputy manager stated, temporary, but I'm going to move this forward at, accounting for all those factors that I just laid out, and I hope that you'll understand. If you have any questions, these documents are publicly available, and I'll be more than happy to discuss them with you and my thought process behind this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Diegues. Any further discussion? Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to, similar to Councilman Diegues, I do want to bring up some of the things that came up during our budget meeting. I think one of the items, actually you raised it, and I want to make sure that there's at least some explanation behind the thought process. We have 3 public comments, all of them requesting the rollback rate. And Melissa, I know you're wonderful at what you do, but you don't like surprises. But I know that you have this in your back pocket. What is the amount equivalent to at this rate that we have received 3 requests from the public for?
So the rollback rate would generate about $343,000 less in ad valorem revenue, but that is excluding anything that is any new construction, deletions, et cetera.
Right. And I know that there was one big ticket item that we have to account for in the budget that is increasing this year, and it's constant. It's the police rate. What is that police rate, or what's the balance on that police rate? It's in the 2 range.
You're talking about the difference?
Yeah, the
From
difference.
It's about, I want to say 286. I don't know it off the top of my head. I'd have to.
286. And I think, Mayor, that's one of the key significant points that you brought up during the budget workshop. Almost an entire increase in the rate is being taken up by that police line
Correct.
item or that police difference. So, you know, to kind of contemplate a rollback rate at this time would be madness unless we had some way to make up that difference. So that's kind of my thought process and why I'm supporting the current rate. And I wanted to make sure that the residents, at least the ones that took the time to write, and 3 people that I consider close to me, and I would say close to many of us on this dais, not that we're ignoring their concerns, but there is a methodology, there are the considerations that we need to take, and that's my reason for voting in favor of this. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No. No, to put similar to the vice mayor. A couple years back, I remember there were some folks that would question us why we were adding police officers to the force, why we were doing certain things, why we're spending so much on our police part. I think the proof is in the pudding, right? You have the lowest crime rate, our residents are happy, and I can tell you the vast majority, I cannot say 100%, but the vast majority of our residents want to see us fully fund our police department and more. If we have more opportunities to add LPRs, we have more opportunities to add more patrols. If we had, obviously there's gonna be those that don't want that, but the vast majority want that. So you hit it on the head. Our entire ad valorem goes to paying our police department. We actually still to this day collect less in ad valorem than what we pay out to our police department. So I wanted to make that a point. Where I am not in favor of like defunding the police or any of these types of things. We have to continue fully funding our police department and adding more to it because that's what our residents, the vast majority, want. The other thing I just wanted to put on the record, and I wanted our deputy manager to do some homework. I did a little bit of homework today. We have 36 households in our town that are long-term residents, that senior exemptions, meaning I don't even think they pay ad valorem to the town pretty much. There's 36 of them. These folks, as a household, they collect less than $31,000. Their homes are valued, market value is less than $250,000. So there's 36 senior households in our town with that exemption. But there's 321 households, senior households in our town with senior exemptions, meaning they meet a similar household income threshold as to the long term. The big difference is either folks that they could have moved in recently or whatnot. The other folks have been living here for a long time. But the ones that have 321 households, I know at one point, and under I believe under the Jimenez administration, they were receiving $100 checks a year. Simply my request of our deputy town manager is just between now and the next budget meeting, because I know we want to make sure specifically that our low-income seniors are taken care of. You know, they're the most vulnerable population in our community. And I just want, between now and our next budget meeting, I want to see what the number is specifically for the 321 senior households in our community that get the senior exemption based on the household income threshold. I just want to see how much is the total number for those seniors in our community that they pay to the town in ad valorem. Because I think sometimes we're constantly looking around and we're constantly battling who wants what, who wants this, who's not going to pay this. But I think those that are the specific residents, that 321 households in our community that have a senior exemption based on an income threshold. I just want to see what that 321 households pay to the town in ad valorem, because I think that's an important number for us going forward, because I know we constantly talk about protecting low-income seniors, and there's 321 households in our community that are in that category. That I think we can help out, at the very least, just be empowered with that data. But I know there's 36 households in our community that are part of the long-term resident senior exemption, and they don't, I believe they don't even pay ad valorem to our community. They're completely, I believe they're completely exempt. I know the other ones get a discount as well. So if there's no objections, I would love, just for our deputy town manager, just to bring back that number. I would love to see what that number is, because I know it was mentioned at the last meeting. It's been mentioned many, many times where residents say, Mayor, whatever it is, if you're gonna increase $1 or $2 or 50 cents, let's look out for our low-income seniors. So that's, in discussion with the property appraiser's office, I got those numbers. 321 are the households in our community that we can possibly help. But I just want to see what that number is. I'm not saying making a motion one way or the other. I just want to empower the council with that figure. So, but yeah, are you okay with that, Deputy Manager?
Mayor, that's no problem. We'll take a look at it and do our due diligence to get that information.
If you guys need my help, I can help you make it happen. I'll set up the call. So I couldn't get it today because it was short notice, but if you guys need my help, I can do it for you.
Mayor, let the record reflect that Councilmember Alvarez has joined the meeting.
Also, I wanted to state on the record that I checked what the difference was, and it's not 286, it's 245 for the difference in police. That I wanted to state on the record that I had said it was 286 because I didn't know the number off the top of my head, but I checked, it's 245.
Got it. Okay, sounds good. I just want to put it on the record, if you could bring back for the council, to indulge the council, because we always talk about our low-income seniors, and now we're starting to get that data, because the data does exist. 36 that are totally exempt, and there's 321 households that get an exemption, but not as big as the long-term resident senior exemption. So just, if you could bring that back. Any further, Councilman Fernandez?
Thank you, Mayor, and I was kind of waiting for this one until we got further along with the MLOP bond discussions. But since you brought up the senior exemption, that's one of the things that I talked about on the campaign trail. Is when we look at whatever that bond issuance looks like, potentially exempting seniors that qualify for that exemption from any MLOP bond that we discuss. So I want to take the opportunity to put that on the deputy manager's radar. That's also something that I'd like to look at.
Got it. Any further discussion, council, on this item? Seeing Councilman Alvarez, I know you arrived late. We are on the millage rate and setting the dates and all that. Is there anything you wanted to add? I know you just walked in.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I couldn't agree more. I am supportive of keeping the millage at currently what's being proposed, especially after hearing the CPI growth and the cost of living expenses. Obviously, it's in my best interest, along with the council's, but at least for my vote, to still provide the same quality of service. I think if we roll back the millage, we may look at that being impeded. So I'm in full support of keeping the millage at what it is and having an open discussion in the future. Compared to the rest of the municipalities in the county, we by far are the lowest with the franchise fee. So I look forward to having a discussion on that in the near future as well, to not only continue the same level of service, but increase it. So looking forward to bringing that back and discussing that with my colleagues. Thank you.
Got it. Any further discussion, council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on item 9A.
Item 9A, Councilmember Dieguez.
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Yes.
Councilmember Fernandez.
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruano is absent. Vice Mayor Collazo.
Yes.
Mayor Sid.
Yes.
The item passes unanimously.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're on to item 10A. Council, this is my item. I know I talked about this at the last council meeting, but our attorneys and staff have just kind of, I wouldn't say lost, they're just kind of like trying to deal with the bureaucracy of the county, and it's really getting to a point that it's disrespectful to our residents. We identified this as a collective, that this is a public safety issue, the crosswalk Montrose, a crosswalk on Fairway. Just yesterday, I drove by Montrose, Fairway, just to see the conditions. I literally saw a pedestrian dodging traffic and cars. So to me, I can't say what's being done to our town is illegal or unethical, because at the end of the day, the county has these wide-ranging ordinances that all these bureaucrats can hold their hat to, but it is immoral. And I think it is immoral where you have something as simple as a crosswalk, and it's being held up for months and months and months and months and months and months. I talked to staff today, they were like, Mayor, we can't even go to bid without just moving forward with the plans. So even if the county a month from now were to do this, we might not even see these crosswalks if we were just to sit back and do nothing. Maybe not till 2021 to start moving forward, which it is 100% immoral that you have bureaucrats doing this to a community just because they can. There is no reason why plans for an existing crosswalk, where our staff, not county staff, but our staff will be the ones inspecting the electrical part of it. So that's the most important part of that aspect of it. It is 100% immoral to hold it up just because somebody believes it is okay to hold it up and not do it. I mean, I'm getting to the point that I'm going to make a motion. We have to move forward with this. This is a public safety issue. This cannot continue to be held up because a handful of individuals just want to hold it up. It is wrong. It is immoral. It is something, when we funded it, it should have taken a month. Literally, it should have taken a month. That is a plan. I mean, Danny could have approved this, or staff, you could have reviewed this and approved it in how long? A couple weeks. But these folks have taken months just to approve a piece of paper, and it's happening more and more and more to get approved. A wrap on a traffic signal, it took 2 years. It's insanity. It's madness. And imagine how we're getting treated as a municipality. Imagine residents that go to the county for similar things. I mean, it's inherently wrong. We identified a public safety issue. It has to move forward. So my motion is to direct staff to begin moving forward with the procurement portion of this, because we can't wait any further, because at the end of the day, if something happens, God willing it doesn't, but we've already had we've had a fatality, which is a terrible incident on Fairway. Then we had another resident who was hit on Fairway and is still in major critical condition. And yesterday, I mean, I literally saw residents, jumping in between cars to get across. And I see the same thing on Montrose every single day. It is disrespectful, and it is 100% immoral to hold back a plan that takes 1 day to approve. So I just want to make a motion to direct our staff to move forward with procuring both of
I'll
these.
second the motion, and I have an amendment.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
Great item, Mayor, and I really appreciate, kind of grabbing the bulls by the horn. I think it's been long overdue, and you're right. I think you've telegraphed it a lot. But I don't blame staff. I don't blame, anybody on our end. I think they've done everything possible, and it comes to a point where it just reaches a level of frustration. But to that end, I know we have great relationships with our county commission, a commissioner from this area, and I know we've made significant inroads with the mayor as well. So what I would like to do is, in tandem, at the same time that we're moving forward with the procurement process, that we continue to work the back channels politically, at least with the mayor's staff. I know we all have relationships directly with people that have been assigned to this area, and with our county commissioner, and make sure that they're on notice, that this is not blindsiding them, and this is not disrespectful to them, but making sure that they're aware and that we're doing this all in the name of public safety. So that's my motion, that while as we move in tandem with this, we continue to put political pressure with our county commissioner and with the mayor's office directly, hopefully to see if we find mutual resolution for this issue.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Back on to the main motion as amended. Any further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilman Dieguez and Councilman Alvarez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And through the chair to the deputy manager, can you explain specifically what approval we're seeking from the county?
It's basically a traffic engineering type approval from the county to do the crossing.
Okay, no, I just wanted to get clarification on that, and yeah, because I agree with the mayor, we've been waiting a very long time to get this project done, and it just seems as if it's constantly in limbo. I mean, I think we've been talking about Montrose in particular, I think since you first got elected, Councilman Alvarez, so, you know, so it's been a minute. But, okay, thank you very much. I just wanted that clarification.
Hold on, Mr. Mayor, I just want to be clear. I'm sorry to be a lawyer. The term traffic engineering and everything else was used just loosely, overbroad, and everything else. I don't want it to be construed as an admission as to that some of those repairs or maintenance, as opposed to or more in the nature of repairs or maintenance as opposed to traffic engineering, and I think most of you know why.
No, of course, and I understand you're trying to preserve our position.
Yes.
But I just, you know, but I think I'm just going to stop there.
Exactly. It wasn't so much you, it was the deputy manager, but, you know, I'm fine-tuned to that issue, not everybody else, and I appreciate that, you know, and I you know, it's not a criticism at all.
See, but I personally, I mean, I still don't know why we self-inflict unnecessary bureaucracy in these things. When the entrance features happened before this council was up here, the interpretation of staff and everybody back then was, hey, we can do the entrance features on the medians because we have an agreement to maintain those medians. So they interpreted it as, we can do it. Imagine if they would have gone and asked for these types of engineer, we wouldn't have entrance features throughout town. So I think interpretations consistently change in these things. And listen, this is, and to the vice mayor's point, you know, we did a tour with the mayor, with the county commissioner. You know, we've gone through a lot of things. Even a lot of the projects are still, look, we're still talking about 59th Avenue. We're talking about now that they want to charge us some crazy fees. We're still talking about 87th Ave, that they're going to put the armadillos or who knows what. That's like a 5-year I mean, everything, 67th Avenue was supposed to get repaved months ago, and instead of repaving 67th, they went and repaved 87th Avenue, right? These things don't even make sense. So it 100% I agree on the political side, but it just feels that, you know, we have to be a bit more bold, and our interpretations have to be different, because staff in the past interpreted our agreement to maintain medians as, hey, since we maintain the median, we have these agreements, we can build as long as our in-house folks inspect it, we can do it. That's where me personally, I've sided with the folks back
Look,
then more than
it's
than
real
now.
clear, and I can tell staff and the manager, we have the right to plan, design, construct, and maintain our roads. It's that simple. We have an agreement that says that. What is being done or how it's being done, it is our position that we have the right to plan, design, construct, and maintain our roads. Straightforward in the agreement. I'm not sure where there's any dichotomy. Anybody calls me up and asks me, I will tell them that. Do you want to talk to the county just to work in partnership or as a courtesy? That's fine. But we have the right to plan, design, and construct on our roadways, except for 67th Avenue, 57th Avenue, and I'm not sure if 87th is one of them. 87th may be one of them as well. I'm not
So
sure.
I just hope staff and everybody, even county, everybody hears your interpretation, because I think it's important going forward, especially how we keep asking for more infrastructure. Like, that's why the discussion later on, and I know I'm delving something, when we talk about the budget, if we're going to put more money for infrastructure, is it going to get stuck in purgatory again? I mean, those are the things where I just appreciate that, because it helps staff, and that's where I think you and Lorenzo
Yeah.
can be very helpful to them, so they don't get, so it helps them. in
They
their thought
carved
process.
out an exception, which is for traffic engineering. which is a stop sign, a stoplight, closing off a street. Anything that has to do with changing the flow of traffic or narrowing to a lane, maybe even a speed limit, those types of things, yeah, we have to talk to the county about. But maintaining, designing, constructing, that's
Improving an
on us.
existing crosswalk.
Improving, to me, if it's an existing crosswalk and you want to maintain it or repair it or do something to it to make it better, I believe we can do that. And frankly, if they tell you we can't, I want to know. And who's going to stop us from, fixing a crosswalk that needs to be fixed to save lives? We have the right to do that. It's our property. The one who's going to get sued if somebody gets hurt in that crosswalk because it's not properly maintained is going to be us. And then we're going to have to look to the county, hey, you didn't give us time, you didn't respond or anything like that. I don't want to be in that position. And if it needs to escalate to where I start writing letters to the legal department of the county, let us know.
God, I know Councilman Alvarez, and we'll go back around.
So I just want to be clear, the motion now, so we are going to retract the process of getting approval through the county and us go through the process of permitting and installing and designing this crosswalk. And we're having conversations with our commissioners on the back end to let them know this is no disrespect to the county. This is a public safety concern that we want to address immediately, as it has been something that has been in the process to get approval for quite some time. Am I correct, Mayor, with what I'm saying?
With the attorney's interpretation, I mean, I think that
Yes?
what he interpreted.
Look, it was my high school PE teacher that got hit and almost killed and has been in a nursing home for the past 2.5 years. Okay? If there's an issue with a crosswalk and you think it needs to be improved, you ask them nicely in a letter, interagency or whatever. If they don't respond, do it. If they tell you no, let's figure out why. And then I'll take it up with their legal department, or we'll escalate it to the manager level or whatever we need to do. But it can't just sit there.
So that's the process. We have to send them a letter letting know. I'm trying to understand. This is my first
The
rodeo,
agreement
and-
doesn't say what we have to do. It doesn't say it in the agreement. The agreement just says we're responsible for the planning, design, and construction. The agreement carves out traffic engineering. It doesn't say in the agreement itself what letters or how you have to, how you have to do things in that fashion. There's an established procedure between our government, and follow that as a courtesy at the staff level. If they don't respond, then proceed. If they tell you no, then we figure out why.
But a crosswalk, an existing crosswalk that's basically being enhanced, does not require a traffic engineering study because it's not an additional stop sign, it's not a turn, right? We are enhancing a visible signal to drivers that may be on their cell phones, may be distracted while driving, and can hit a resident trying to cross Montrose and Fairway, correct?
There could be two sides to that interpretation. If the town believes strongly in doing it, do it. Send them a letter, see if they have an objection, and let's see what their position is on the objection. A quick letter, 10, 15, 20 days, something like that. And then, as a courtesy, I believe we have the right to enhance that existing crosswalk as long as we are not affecting the flow of traffic, because that starts to become traffic engineering. I don't think we're affecting the flow of traffic because there's already a crosswalk there. But it's something you need to discuss with the county briefly, courteously. If they don't respond, then do it. If they respond and they say yes, we're all good. I think they're going to say yes. I mean, who's going to say no to to an improvement or an enhancement to a crosswalk? Really? Especially on that street where two people that we know of, I know one that was killed, we all know about that one, and then there was a second lady who was hit on a Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not like it was the middle of the night. It was a Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
And you draft this letter?
Sure.
Got it. Sounds good to me.
Any further discussion? Council, seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion passes. I think we're at the end of our meeting, so this meeting's adjourned. We'll see you, Deputy Manager, when's the next meeting? Do we have any workshops, special
August
calls?
18th. August,
Can I have something for the record? before-
August 10th. Council meeting.
Okay,
August 10th, council meeting.
got it.
I just hope our town manager's having a great time in North Carolina.
Yes, Councilman,
He is.
Councilman Alvarez.
Mayor, no, just for the record, I know we're gonna go through the budget process, and I know that Danny and now Jeremy assumed the role. So when we start looking at it more in depth, if you guys can bring some of those options for that bike trail that we're gonna do for the youth, because at least for me, that's gonna drive some decision as to how much money to put into park and recreation improvements. Thank you.